Hello, my dear friends. Definitely thank you for tuning in and taking up the cause of getting your bodies healthy and getting yourself straightened out and feeling good again, out of pain, get the skin conditions all cleaned up. You know, when you're learning how simple, understanding how we're creating this in our bodies and how we're creating genetic weaknesses and then how we can turn that around. That is so important that we teach this to everybody, because it is your remedy and it's simply just truth. You know, sometimes in the cycles of life on all levels, it can get, moving from pole to pole, obviously positive and negative. This time, of course, I think it's swinging obviously toward the negative side. You see it everywhere you look at. People are going, look, it's negative everywhere. And you can see at that time, that's when God needs to bring in the high powers, the spiritual souls that are more awakened, to bring light to the darkness, or the darkness keeps sucking it in, keeps pulling it in, where we're here to put the brakes on that and start pulling people back out of that. They call that in Hinduism the in-breath of God. I want to think, we now have a book of fruit. Absolutely, isn't that cute? The new Bible of fruit. Well, the Bible already tells us about the fruit. And you will know the fruit, and the fruit shall set you free. And it will. I've said that many, many times, I was raised a Christian, and went to church every Sunday, had Boy Scout badges, and learned the Bible front to cover. All spiritual scriptures have good stuff in them, no question. And I was missing in the last video, for those of you that are Christians, to view the 23 other Gospels. It really helps to get a more rounded view of Jesus, who they call Jesus, and that message. Because you want the complete message, right? You just don't want to be fed what people want you to hear, right? You want to know the truth. If I'm a Christian, and this is my belief system, then I want to know the truth of my belief system, right? I want to know all the ins and outs. I want to know that all the different scriptures were out there that were, considered. Why did we just pick 4, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John? Why do we do those things? I don't know if you find that sort of thing in other teachings. I'm sure, there's a lot on this planet that's been moved around so societies could flourish or societies could become under control. If you notice, most of your religious leaders are into some level of control. And it's like your spiritual leaders should set you free. Your spiritual leaders should make you feel good about being you. Your spiritual leaders need to keep the community fathers, the governments, understanding the importance of keeping the people free. You don't pass so many laws that you can't even move around. The importance is protection and keeping people free. Not suppressing people's rights and, creating a Gestapo. It's even in the building departments. I hate to even go into a building department to get a permit because they're robots. You can't do this. You can't. Florida's real bad. And it's like there's a certain point where you leave proper and get overreaching and taking people's rights away, and that's what's happened. And the poor people involved, the workers involved, they don't have no clue. They're lost in the human consciousness. So so much has to open up here. It's amazing. And I hope that we can do a lot of that without something major having to happen to the planet. Because generally when you look at Atlantis and Lemuria, there's a lot of speculation of those two huge civilizations that either went down overnight or took time. My opinion is Atlantis and Lemuria took time to go down. It didn't just fall overnight. But, there's a lot of speculation about that. And of course, they're always trying to find the lost city of Atlantis. But that's supposedly positive times, a high, very modern times per se in that particular period, and then the negative force cycle, the cycles, just like we're going through the same cycles. And it's possible we'll end up the same way. The only way you can stop that is for the spiritual people to be successful at introducing love and beauty and higher awareness in terms of how to maintain the body healthy. You know, when you eat higher off the food chain, it changes your personality. You lose your angers, you lose your judgmentals. It's almost like you settle into the understanding that we're all one. We all come from the same source, and of course we look different, and that's the beauty of it, is that we're all different, so we can play differently. Imagine going into a world where every single thing looked the same. So everything was the same. Everything looked the same. How could you do that? Wouldn't be too good, would it? So let your fruit be for your food, and the herbs, the vegetables, for your healing. In other words, the herbs. Love the shirt, guy. Love the shirt. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And this is Lavinia. Lavinia. Thanks, sweetheart. She's from Romania, living in UK, 27 years old. Beautiful. Good job. You know, it's funny, you guys are helping the world to understand the beauty of fruit and the taste again. Man has lost his taste. Okay, so here's a plant-ripe pineapple. Not store green, then turned through fermentation yellow. Yellow and orange picked off the plant. Now, have you ever been so happy you can't stand it? That's about what it is to have one of those pineapples. So here's a piece of, say, Swiss chard, and then here is a plant-ripe pineapple. Now, which one am I going to want to eat? Nah, forget the pineapple. I like the Swiss chard. Now, bring that baby pineapple home. Daggone right. Thanks so much, Lavinia. Thank you so much. Romania. Romania's got a lot of great people. I know there's a great homeopathist in Romania, and she was telling me how sick the people in Romania are, and I felt so bad for that, you know. I feel so sorry for all what's going on over there. It's just a lot of bad stuff, you know. I'm sure there's all the reasons and stuff. I don't know, but this is from Jalina Khan. I have very high levels of copper floating in my body, and I am wondering what you would suggest to help move this out. Well, there's only one way to move out metals and stuff like that, and of course that's through detoxification. You know, the problem is with copper, as I understand it, is that it likes to settle in the kidneys, and that's not good. So, isn't it stainless steel that you get copper off of when you cook it too high? So even stainless steel, you have to be careful about cooking in it. I think glass would be the only thing you would want to heat anything in, and then if you get too hot, you know, you're just destroying everything in what you're cooking. Even if you're making some vegetable soups, you know, don't over destroy the nutrition there. You know, because remember, anything water soluble is going to be destroyed around 109, 110 easy. So anything that's water soluble, that would be your flavonoids, that would be your B vitamins. That'd be a lot of chemistry that's destroyed when you heat and cook your foods. Another thing happens when you heat and cook your foods is that your lipids, your fats, bond with your aminos or your proteins. So now you've got a beast of another flavor here. You've got a serious foreign protein for the body, foreign chemistry. And that is chemistry out of harmony. Remember that? Foreign in the dictionary means in medical is out of harmony with. So when you eat a let's say a hamburger sandwich, that is actually foreign chemistry to the Homo sapien body. And the body is not in harmony with most of that chemistry. So the only way when you see, that's why I've always said that detoxification, especially regenerative detoxification, is that golden key, guys, that helps unlock your suffering and your misery, because what's in has to come out, right? Well, the only word we use for that is detoxification. In other words, detoxification is cleaning your internal environment. We add a little kick to that is you can't just clean, you have to restore and enhance and rebuild a lot of times. Genetic weaknesses and all the damage that acids have done to tissue. So that whole process is a natural process that takes place with the proper way of detoxification, which you guys are learning. And you guys are doing very, very incredible to me. Incredible. I'm so happy to see all you guys and your successes. It's just incredible. I'm so happy with you guys. And I know some are struggling. And you hang in there. We're on your team. You know, we're on your team to help you overcome struggling. So sometimes it's just the way the wind blows for your journey. And it's just sometimes important maybe to get into meditation or contemplation, and maybe your spiritual guide will expose your journey to you, or you'll be shown some things, or you can learn how to get out of the body and see more things. Because the closer to the Godhead you pull your attention back, or the closer to your consciousness you pull your attention back, the more you know, the more you see, the more you understand things you never knew you had in you. Multitude of things that flow out of your beingness that you didn't know you had in you. Sometimes you ever say something sometimes and you didn't realize you didn't have that in you. You heard it somewhere maybe, but you didn't realize it was in there. Yeah. The mind is its own mechanism. It's its own world, its own mechanism. And that apart from consciousness, you. I think through some of the detox protocols I have tried in the past, fruit wasn't a part of this, I may have made things worse, and this has affected my gut health. Well, it depends. You know, if you're using coffee enemas and stuff like that, yeah, you can definitely worsen yourself because it's overstimulation. And if you're already fatigued and tired and stuff like that, when you use stimulants, you actually go deeper into that world of fatigue. Because it's great for a short term. Oh yeah, it's like testosterone, the users of testosterone. You see them on billboards all over the place. Not one consideration, not one word. If you have prostatitis, you can't use it. You don't hear that. And very few. I'm sure there's some good medical physicians that are going to ask you that, but I bet you can count them on one hand because there's a rule. I listen to men and you know, they just walk up and they give them a prescript for it. There you go. I'd never do something like that because then I would be responsible for taking some male with prostatitis and flipping him right on into the cancer, right on into atrophy of the cells. Because you can't add more acid on top of acid. Now it's a lighter acid, so not as bad as saying chemo on top of acid. Because that's insane. That's frying the whole hen house out. That's burning the whole hen house out, and hopefully somebody's still alive in there that maybe someday will wake up. You know, it's an insanity type of thinking. And remember, we're thinking about regenerative detoxification, and this is why we're into the botanicals and using the botanicals the way we are, but also using the glandulars because we want regeneration. We want, say, your parathyroid here, we want that to come up. Let's see. I get a lot of belching and gas and am probably not absorbing my nutrients judging by the strips on my nails. Yeah, the strips on your nails. You might not be, but I'm going to go more toward that. Of course, again, you're probably very right. But maybe you having some absorption. But when you start getting ridged fingernails and stuff, say parathyroid gland, and you're too acidic, that you're losing calcium to acidosis. And it's taking it out of your fingernails. But it's either out of the nails or out of the walls of the arteries and veins or out of the skeletal system, out of the connective tissue, or it's out of the nails. You know what I'm saying? It's out of tissue. And where you have matrix that's holding tissue together, as in skeletal, and you start taking that bone matrix, that's when you see the compressions and the herniations and stuff of the spine and other places. The loss of joints and stuff like this. And it's all around acidosis. And the activity occurs. Remember, activity creates acidosis. So as you have activity, when you then set back and you're now a little more sedentary, that's when you hit the fruit juices. You start cleaning out the acids you created through your activities. Remember, you go down when you start moving muscle, what acid are you creating? Lactic acid. But then you're bringing in deeper breathing. So you're breathing in more oxygen, right? Because you demand more energy. So now all the other acids are formed. Carbonic, phosphoric, boratic, all these other acids are formed during the same process. So the question, if you're increasing activity to move lymph, are you moving lymph and the extra acids you're working, or are you so stagnant in the kidneys that you're not only not moving your metabolic acids out of your body, you're not moving the new acids you're creating from the activity trying to move the old acids out. See what I'm saying? So stagnation is a very serious thing and can be helped through chemistry.
Sorry.
Thank you, sweetheart.
You're welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Gotta go.
Gotta go. Gotcha. Watch out, people.
Oh, watch out, kids.
Okay. All right. You see where I'm going with that? So the stagnation has to be opened up. Can you open up, question, can you open up stagnation with activity? No, because you're creating more acids in the activity of trying to open up the stagnation. What you can do, though, is open up the stagnation with chemistry and then apply activity. And now you have everything opened, and now all the acids, including the acids from your activity and trying to get the old lymph moving, now everything's hydrating and moving and fluidity and everything is where you need it to be. So initially, it's like sometimes when we would stress people on a stress test in the hospital. If they were in wheelchairs and stuff, we would have to use, God forbid, let me bite my tongue, but we use persantine, which is a chemical that mimicked activity in your body. And don't ask me what it all did to you. Oh, toxic yellow crap. But so then you didn't have to exercise or do the Bruce protocol because we did that and then read your stats and then we did your radioactive stuff and whoa. Anyway. So the belching in gas, honey, now look at that two things. You could be combining your foods wrong. You could have a pancreatic weakness where you're not digesting your foods totally, so you're getting a lot of fermentation and putrefaction, or you have sulfur. And that sulfur is coming, and that sulfur is going to come out when you're detoxified, and you could feel like you could have started a good detox and then just started moving some sulfur, and now you're getting gassy, bloating, and everything else. A good detox, though, is going to be this level. This level of detox will ride your train right on into the station. Where most detoxes out there, especially with the veggies, you're gonna plateau way out here. I've done so much detoxing on myself and others in this world. I can tell you, tens of thousands of people I've detoxed. So I can just tell you where you're going. And as a rule, now there's always an exception to that, but as a rule, the power of the fruit cannot be underestimated, and the berry. The berry, of course, is going to have more power than the modern day fruits. The berries are unbelievable, but put the berries and the fruits together when you get up there because you're still at the highest frequency of foods available to you on the planet and the highest chemically charged balanced chemistry. Balanced chemistry. And the chemistry that's in harmony with the Homo sapien body. These all are key factors. Sometimes, though, your loot here, I may have made things worse. Sometimes if you stop at detox in the middle of it, you can feel that way. That's why, as a rule, not always, but as a rule, when you have a healing crisis, I push you through it. I don't back you up. Now, there's been people that I've had to go eat some cooked foods and stop this detox, because the healing crisis were getting too much. Then we stopped it and backed them down a little bit. No big deal, right? Because we have no way of knowing except through looking at your iris the possible areas you're going to have detoxification symptoms in. And that's where you can use. You just look at your iris and go, oh, there's my liver. I'm going to feel that one. I look at my knee. I'm going to feel my right knee. I know that. Oh, look, there's a lesion in my throat. I'm going to have a sore throat when I detox. You're going to see these things as a rule come your way. And then they're gone and it's healed up and everything and comes down and your body starts healing itself all over the place. So these are actually great signs that your body's actually doing its job, but not fun signs in the sense that it's always involved in pain or discomfort. Seems like. But you want to take a look at your pituitary, honey, on your fingernails. Your pituitary and parathyroid. I have a feeling my kidneys haven't been filtering as I have sensitive adrenals. Yep. You're probably right here. Probably right. But the best way to tell is pee in a mason jar. Get yourself a mason jar and pee in it. Take a look at it. You got sediment in it. But there's a little fallacy to that if you have 2 kidneys and 1 bladder. So one kidney could be filtering per se and the other one not. So you could get one kidney filtering fairly quickly and the other one take a lot longer. See, so it's really difficult. There's no real good way I know of right now to make sure. So one side of your body, believe it or not, one side of your body could get very healthy while the other side stayed weak. I've seen that. And it's like, oh, wow. But all these little things help us to understand the important role the kidneys do play. And I think as a practitioner of the art, one should always keep their attention and watch, because my mind is this type of thing that I can categorize and keep in mind all the people I've worked on and categorize them right where, and take these things and learn from them. So then I don't do it the next time, or I adapt and change because it works better. Because don't you think that we should always seek to make things better and do better? Like when I leave this rock, I want to turn the keys over and say, I made it better. Don't you? This idea that these people are fighting and killing all these people, blowing up all archaeology sites and stuff, is like, I want to make this planet worse. I want to kill everybody on it. Those are souls that are so deeply lost that it's going to be a while to bring them around. And some of the prisons that are available in the astral world are extremely scary. So some people don't realize what they can create for themselves in terms of future experiences. Put it lightly like that. That when you do, you kind of change your attitude about things. Start using love and other things because you know that you're getting the blowback from this sort of thing, But when you leave your planet, when I sell a house, I made it better for you. Look at the gardens outside. If I rent a house, I always make it better. Always plant plants, fix it up. When I leave, it's always better. Good idea, isn't it? Okay, so I have developed histamine issues and food intolerances. Well, that's your lymph. So it just says, sweetheart, your lymph is backed up. You're right on point here. Your kidneys are down. Your adrenals are down. You're definitely on point here. Your lymph system's involved here. My sleep is also affected. So, okay. So now she's saying her sleep is affected. So there's a word we use for that. It's called insomnia. Now, it's possible to have a little insomnia. If this is true, sweetheart, then what I said earlier about the pituitary might be more appropriate. More appropriate. So you might have to think about pituitary and its kick to the parathyroid for these fingernails, because, sweetheart, you don't want that. And then, of course, a female is giving birth to babies. And they need calcium. The babies use mama's calcium. Well, mama has a good high raw diet, plenty of calcium. But if mama has a parathyroid weakness, even on a great diet, she can't utilize the calcium out of the great diet. And the baby keeps borrowing hers. And of course, the baby's chances of having a parathyroid weakness is also high. And then the baby doesn't grow well skeletally or anything else. And then they have growing pains and all the other kind of stuff. Or then they get the heads and everything else. So it's a big deal. This is really, really important stuff that we work on here. And I just love the fact that you guys are getting into it. Because look at the importance of what you know and what you can do with what you know. And how you can affect this world and make it positive. You can turn the keys over to your children and go, I made it better for you. And I made your body better so you could have a better, fun time here. I got to go here in a minute, unfortunately, but I'll be back this afternoon. This is what time? This is noon, and I've already cut down some plants, planted some plants, cleaned up. I've been out working since 6. Just one of those things. I have developed. Okay, so think about that. If you have sleep problems out there, use the pineal glandular, and I would do 1 to 2 capsules, 1 to 2 hours before sleep. But at the same time, I'm going to get up here and drain my sinuses, upper circulation. I'm going to work on my neurolymphatics, drain my ears, get my bowels cleaned up and my kidneys filtering. And then everything starts draining and cleaning. And then the light starts coming in. The darkness starts peeling away. And you start seeing things and feeling better, and you didn't realize that you weren't smelling or hearing properly and tasting foods properly. A lot of people have lost their sense of taste and smell, and you'll find those coming roaring back on you and go, my God, I can smell again, I can taste again. These things bring happiness. People don't smell, they don't taste, they're unhappy. The foods are making them constipated and painful and sick. So we have a society that reflects it. So the first order of business is just what you guys are doing. That's just what this planet needs. You guys are doing just what all the leaders should be doing. Infusing this world with awareness. But you can't do that if you're not aware. So infusing this world with awareness and how to take care of the human body so everybody's happier. Instead of trying to control everybody, put their arms around everybody and say, let's have some fun. Let's have a drumming circle. Thanks for the question here, sweetheart. I am now on a high fruit protocol, including melons and berries. I am also taking GI broom. Smart lady here. Very smart lady here. I better get my butt going. Let me read one more. I'm bad about that, but I want to get to all your questions, and I'm almost done with this stack. Then I got another stack, and then Chris has got another stack for me. So bear with me, guys. I'm working. This is from Jane Kelly. Dr. Morse, I thank God every day that I found you. Oh, thanks, Jane. Love you, honey. Thank you. I watch your YouTube videos. I feel hope now. I was diagnosed with ALS. Oh, wow. In September 2013. Wow. Okay. That's 3 years ago. Wow. 2 weeks ago, I started a raw diet. Oh, good. You gotta, honey. Gotta. I joined your herbal club, and I want to know what to buy and how much of it do I need. Do I juice fruits only, or do I eat fruits and juice? I live in Ireland and have 4 young daughters. Oh, wow. Well, this is real important, Jane, because you've got the 4 daughters, and of course they're in the genetic lineage of you, and they're downlines. So, smart woman you are. I will follow your instructions completely and would be so thankful for any information to get me on the road to health. Now, I want you guys to remember, we have fantastic counselors. And I train them myself, so they're really, really good. And you can always have a counselor put your foot on the path. But if you're an ALS or you're an MS or a Parkinson's, my diet protocols are pretty much the same. And I've had a lot of experiences with this. So fruits, berries, and melons, and I would get myself up there raw, strict as possible. And I would get up there, fruits, berries, and melons, and settle in for about 6 months to a year, easy. I don't know where you're at in a wheelchair or whatever, but this. I think we showed you the video of the chiropractor's wife. It took her 6 months or 7 months to at least get up and start walking. I don't claim you can run, but if you can get up out of a chair and stand on your own and walk on your own, even with a helper, phase one, you're up, all right? And you just keep working the phases. And then you keep holding that charge, because remember, you're not holding charge. The adrenal glands are not holding your neurotransmitter charge. Plus, you want to build your neurotransmitters up because you're going to rebuild the myelin sheaths that way. You can rebuild the myelin sheaths, strengthen the myelin sheaths with the herbs, brain and nerve number 2. And you want to always be on brain and nerve number 2 and upper circulation. In case you got brain lesions, most of these individuals with neurological had brain lesions. In other words, yeah, thanks. Thank you. I'll be back right after lunch. I got to finish up. Love you, man. Thank you. And so most of them have brain lesions. That means the acids have been sitting there chewing and chewing and chewing. And where I see brain lesions, I also see those radius solaris. When you see those deep, dark radius solaris in the eyes, that's where your brain lesions are. If you have them, that's where they are. And I can tell you can rebuild those and cut them down. You've seen the eyes where we showed you how they're cutting those down. So you have to rebuild. You're into rebuilding. You're into rebuilding the adrenal glands. You're rebuilding the myelin sheaths. You're getting up in the cerebellum. You're draining all this out. So again, you're going to candle the ears. You're going to open this up. You're going to sweat. You're going to open up the thyroid. You get your bowels cleaned up. You're going down that way. So I'm on the 14-week protocol at least, but I'm on brain and nerve and upper circulation from the get-go. I'm going to start out with adrenal 400, so 3 times a day. I'm probably going to do that for a couple of months. And I might even add the adrenal herbal formula with that to make sure, because I'm after my adrenal glands. I'm also after all of this up here. My drop foot, all this stuff. I get to the cerebellum. Cleaning up the GI tract, you're going to get to the autonomic brain, the gut, the solar plexus stomach area. So you're going to enhance all this stuff. And little at a time, my dear one, you will get your life back. You'll get your life back. You might get a little thin, but then your muscles will come back. Everything will go through this process of cleaning and restoring and rebuilding. And you hang in there and you do it. You've got daughters, and they should be doing some wrong with you to keep them from moving that way. Because that's the problem. You got to look at those 4 sweethearts and go, they could be moving my way. They have my genetic patterns. And if they eat the same, then they're creating the same environment inside, the acidosis. See, so you have to turn everything around and have some conversations with your daughters and tell them just what's up and what you're on, and a journey to Wellville, in which you will get your car into station. Guaranteed, honey. So you work on yourself, but if you need any help, you call in here. We don't charge that much for counseling. And they all can put your feet on the proper path, and off you go. But if not, I'll help you as much as I can here. And then diets are all the same to me, guys. Fruits, berries, and melons. I don't care what condition you got. You got a big old tumor, or you're in a wheelchair. I don't care. Those will take care of all those for you. The herbs, you can play a little bit, but go back to that protocol video that I did. Go back to that protocol video, and maybe there's something there for you to help you. Thank you so much, guys. I'll be back here in a little bit. I've got to run. I got an appointment to go. But I'll be back and finish up this afternoon. And take care of yourselves. Love you.